I'm Sandy, and I am the creator of Punk Pixels. And I'm from Richmond, Virginia, but I've been living in Greenville, South Carolina for about 11 years now.
God, has it been 11 years?
It has. It's easy to keep track because my first kid, I got pregnant immediately when I moved here. So my first baby, I can keep track that way.
Wow, what a little milestone, right?
Yeah. Yeah, moving all
um,
your stuff like 9 months pregnant was a lot of
yeah.
fun.
Do you love it there?
I love Greenville. It's a wonderful city and it's a great place to raise family. There's a lot of stuff to do here. And
Oh,
the
that's good.
downtown is absolutely gorgeous. My
Oh,
one
that's cool.
complaint is the fact that we don't really have, we do have venues for music, but we don't have like that venue, that like middle of the road venue. We got the little ones, we got the big ones. We just don't have that little middle of the road place. But luckily, we got Asheville right up the road, and then we have
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte, and really, if you're feeling ambitious, Atlanta. But
Yeah.
old, and I like to get a better place, so it's
I was
hard
like,
now.
that's kind of ambitious for sure.
Yeah,
But I was just talking to somebody about that last night. We were randomly met. Of course, it being Richmond, you run into people that you start talking to them, and then you realize that you guys know the same people, and then you're chatting away, and then you're like, wait, how have we've been in the same places at the same time? How have we not met?
yeah,
So it was a situation like that, and we were talking about music, and we were talking about like how much the Richmond landscape has changed as far as like music venues and that sort of thing. And like
yeah.
it's a shame because we had such a vibrant scene here.
We
And
did.
now this feels like it's either like super underground, and maybe as maybe me as an older person, like I don't know what's happening. I could definitely say I've been to a few house shows, in the last 5 years, which is very strange.
Yeah.
Um, because that's how we all started, just
Oh
fun
yeah.
house shows and like coming downtown and like coming to shows downtown and whatever. But so obviously you and I have known each other for quite some time.
Do you know that you were at my first show?
Where was it the first show? Really? Oh
Well, it
my
was
god.
at Crossroads in
It
Norfolk.
was at
It
Crossroads.
was Inquisition and Groove, and that was
Yep.
I think that was my first show. If it wasn't, it was my second one because I know Behavior Control was somewhere in there. My cousin was dating Sammy from Behavior Control, and that's how I got into music. But I very distinctly remember my first show and you and Laura dancing in the pit. I don't think you had any shirts on, and it
Probably
was
not.
awesome. And I just think I still have pictures from that show
Dude, if you
somewhere.
have pictures from that show, I would love to see those. You
And I think
know?
I have pictures of y'all from that show too.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
I'll have to search.
Um, yeah, I remember meeting you. I think we actually met in the bathroom, and there was a lot of excitement. I remember that.
It
It
sounds
was pretty.
about
I mean, how cool is that? That was your first show. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. I was 15 when I went to my first show, and like that first show like opened up my whole world. Like I was pretty miserable up until that point. Like I was living in Mechanicsville. I had a really hard time with people. Um, I was, bullied and, just didn't have my people. And then I went to that first show and that was it. Like I was all in and I
isn't
spent
it
ev-
amazing how that happens?
every
It's
minute I could. I was downtown.
yeah.
All of my friends were at VCU and I just lived at Schaefer Court and that was my place.
I remember like seeing you at shows and being like, "Oh, she's here. That's so great." And like you were just so sprightly and just such a cutie pie. And I was so proud of you. Like I mean, I pretty much saw you grow up in the scene. And
Yeah.
so it's I mean, I kind of did too. but in a different way, just from like being an older person or whatever. But like, I mean, those were some really amazing times
my
here
God.
in Richmond. Very exciting, very like, it was just, there was an energy here that I really do miss sometimes, you
There
know?
was. It was like it was almost a perfect storm because you had DC and there was a lot of
Hmm.
music coming out of DC, and like just the punk hardcore scene was so strong, and it was kind of trickling down into Richmond. But we also had VCU with all the art students there that drew them all there, and it
Hmm.
was just like the perfect place and time where everything came together just right. And I don't know how you would ever recreate that. It was just great. Like it
I
was
think,
a
yeah,
scene.
I think we were very, very fortunate to be in Richmond during that time and to experience that whole culture during that time. Because,
Yep.
and I was talking to this person last night about, Richmond being as segregated as it was when I moved here, but also like I still feel like Richmond, I mean, to be honest, is still segregated by class.
Hmm.
Um, I do feel like there is more integration as far as the social cultural scene,
Hmm.
but I it's been an interesting evolution because it's like, all of us have grown up and now we have careers or like we own something or we're just doing our thing, right? But we still have that spirit inside of us,
Oh
which
yeah.
which is so strong and I think bonds that whole community together. Like I mean, I feel that way when if I see Tim Berry or like, Bo or of course Bo doesn't live here anymore, but like any of the Avail guys, you see them and you're just like it immediately brings you back to that
Oh
time and place.
yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Recently, I went to. Were you at the Avail show? Okay, I don't know how I didn't see you, but
I don't know how I didn't see you either, and I saw your pictures and I was like, oh, Sandy was there. I didn't even see. I saw everyone else, but I
no,
didn't see
I know there were a lot of people I saw, and there were a lot of people I just didn't see.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
trying to balance. I mean, like everywhere I turned, there was someone I knew, and like I wanted to socialize, but I also wanted to watch the bands, like the
yeah.
Cave-In and Quicksand and Avail. Like it was, yeah, and then it was over, and I was like, ah, I didn't see so many people. I know they're here, but yeah, it was like a giant reunion, and
I
that's
know.
so cool. I love that.
I love that so much. I mean, it's like I said, you don't see some of these people for years and years and years, and you run into them on the street or whatever, and it's just like no time has passed.
Oh yeah.
And I love that. I love that about Richmond so much. Like you can always find your little tribe here, and like it's just really great. And
Yeah.
then just talking about the venues and stuff, and just being like, remember when there were so many places for us to go see bands and now it's not so much,
No,
I mean,
I know. It's so crazy for me because I'll be gone for a long time. I come back like once or twice a year, and I'll drive through Gray Street, and I'm like, where am I? Like, I don't. Where's where's Twisters? Where's everything? Like, where is?
you're at Walmart and Chipotle and a bunch of chain restaurants.
Yeah,
It's very strange
it
because
is.
especially with the Grace Street strip. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember going down there when I was 16, you know, um and it was not the safest place, it was a little, but see, that's also something that I feel is missing from the scene now, where it's just like, remember back then it was a little dangerous, it was a little gritty. You were like, ooh, I might get in trouble tonight, or
Yeah,
but then you had all your people and you were just like, I'm not scared of anything, because like you're protected.
that is so funny because, well, number one, I feel exactly the same way, but also I heard Kevin Second say the exact same thing. I was listening to a interview with him and Toby Morse the other day, and like
Yeah, yeah,
he was saying the same thing. He was like, I used to beg people to behave and like, let's not fight tonight. He's like, but
yeah.
now I kind of wish there was a little bit of more.
Everyone's all nice. They're just like, You're in the mosh pit. People are like, oh, excuse me. Oh, so sorry.
I just had
It's
this
it's
weird sense of security because I knew
yeah.
everybody in that little area. Like, I would walk down the streets at like 3 and 4 in the morning, like by myself. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, "Ah, somebody's got my back." I don't know.
Isn't it funny? That's so true, though. It's so so true. And I remember going to VCU and telling people I was going to VCU, and it was kind of a joke. Like you would tell people you go to VCU, and they'd be like, "You're one of those freaks, huh?" It was kind of that whole thing, and it's just weird to see what VCU is now
Yeah.
because it's oh, you go to VCU, and you're just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're in the engineering department, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. What do you mean my class isn't in some weird some weird house? It's just some random street.
I know my second year at VCU. So I actually did my senior year in high school at VCU because I found out like you could graduate early. It was a possibility. And
Yeah.
all my friends were there. The scene was there. I was like, I'm out. If I can get out, I'm out. So I took my senior year at VCU and I lived at home. And then the second year, I was like, I wonder if I can get in the dorm. So I just for fun, I applied to be a RA. I had a shaved head. I had piercings. I was like, they're never gonna accept me. Oh yeah, they totally accept me. I was like, I wonder why. And like the day that we opened up the dorms and we're greeting everybody, everybody who came to the table was like, art student female. Like, they're all on my floor.
Of course. They all just grouped us together,
Yeah, we had a good floor. It was
This was a
fun.
good time. I do miss Schaefer Court.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was watching because I stitched Ian the other day. So I
Yeah.
was watching a video of that Fugazi Schaefer Court show because I was at that. That's the only Fugazi show I ever made it to. I mean, it's just so sad.
Oh,
I
I'm
know.
sad. It
Makes
was
me
a good one though. At least it was a good one.
That was a great show. And so I watched the videos the other day.
Yeah.
I miss Schaefer Court. And last time I went through there, my husband and I walked through, and I was like, God, it's so different. And I'm like, I'll never forget the day they bricked it.
Yeah, me neither.
That flat area of just straight up concrete, and all the kids were skateboarding out there. Oh, it was so fun, and it's just like VCU just.
Yeah, it's funny because like that was like our meeting place. It was just like
Oh yeah.
all the skateboarders were there. Everybody was chill, hanging out.
Oh
And you
yeah.
wanted to see somebody that you'd see at a show, you would go to Schaefer Court. You knew you were gonna run into somebody.
Oh yeah.
But it's just such a tight knit kind of community,
Yeah.
and it's just crazy how much it's changed. But I guess everything has to have an evolution.
I know. It's
It's
always
just
it's sad to say goodbye, but I mean, I feel like I am revisiting like a lot of the stuff.
that's what I mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I mean. Like so now it's funny because you said Stitch Ian, and like I'm sure every young person is like, oh, did you stitch them on TikTok or whatever? So no, that is not what we mean here. So
Let me get
you
in.
started Punk Pixels. I
Yeah.
remember the first thing that I had seen from you was
Mhm.
Gregu.
Was
You
what?
had done the Baby Yoda.
Oh yeah. Oh God, that was awful. So,
Say that.
the Mandalorian stuff came out, and I'm a Star Wars fan. I mean, everybody's a
Yeah.
Star Wars fan, but Disney's really screwed up because they didn't have any merch for the show, and so
Yeah.
all us crafters were like, "Oh yeah, we got
Let's jump on this.
Yeah." I made over 50 Baby Yodas that year.
Holy moly.
Yeah, and that had a lot to do with my evolution of how I have changed the way, because after that I was so burnt out on doing the same thing over and over and over again that I was,
Yeah.
you know what, no more. I'm not, this isn't worth it. It's not fun. It's not, it's just not worth it. So, time marched on. I was, kind of progressing with my skills, um and I was selling stuff, but people didn't want to pay what they were worth. I mean, each doll takes about a
That's
week.
the hard part. Yeah.
I was talking to, oddly, I can just say this nonchalantly. I was talking to King Buzzo about this.
Excuse me. Excuse me, Miss Celebrity.
Like,
That's awesome.
I told him, like, it's sad, but like, I almost want to give this stuff away for free rather than, charge, I can't charge what it's worth. I remember my grandmother even saying this. She used to make these intricate Christmas tree skirts, and she'd sew thousands of sequins on them, and she'd sell them for $30. And we were like, "What are you doing?" And she was like, "Well, people don't want to pay." And I was like, "Yeah, no, I get it." Because, like, if I tell people, I mean, it takes a full week, many hours of my day, And so if I'm going to do this, it's going to be something I love. It's going to be something I'm passionate about. I'm not stitching the same person twice unless I really want to. And yeah, and Buzzo was like, "Yeah, let me guess, like pennies on the hour." And I was like, "Yeah, exactly. Like you just can't charge enough." So at one point I was like, "All right, I want to just stitch what I love." And so I started doing that, and I'm like, I just stopped caring like whether it sold or not, and I
Yeah.
stopped taking commissions because I was really burnt out. And plus, if you look at my commission pieces, you can tell like I'm not into it. There's a
Yeah.
big difference in the way it looks. Like I just can't put my heart into it, and like it's not my work. So I stopped taking commissions, and I just started doing what I wanted to. And then the big thing that happened was I was getting ready to go see 7 Seconds play, and
Mm.
the show got canceled because of COVID.
Right.
I think somebody from the Circle Jerks got COVID, so they postponed the tour. And then when they rescheduled it, I don't know what possessed me, but something in my head was like, "You should stitch Kevin Seconds," and I was like, "Yeah, I really want to stitch Kevin
So it
Seconds."
just honestly just came to you like that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
were like, yeah, all
I
right.
was just like, "Yeah, I really want to stitch him." And so, it's funny because with my creative process, like, if something really hits me in the gut like that, it's just
Mhm.
really easy process. Like, I made
Yep.
him in a couple days. Like, it just kind of flew out of me. And then I sent him this really, really dorky email, like,
You
I
fangirl on him. You
yeah,
fangirl on him.
yeah, totally. And I was like,
Yeah.
I stitched a doll of you, and I'd love to gift it to you, but if you don't like it, it's totally cool. Like, no pressure. And I sent him a picture, and like literally like 5 minutes later, I got an email back, like just so nice, and saying,
He's a very nice guy.
oh my God, he's so nice. And he's like, "I'm so honored. This is amazing." And he offered me, a ticket to the show. Um, and then I got there. I didn't know what to expect. I went to the show, bringing my little doll, and I didn't know what to expect. And things were a little wonky because COVID was flying through the area.
Yeah.
But he was so nice and so just appreciative, and he posted the crap out of it. And then
I saw that.
he held it up on stage and was like, "This just like a Grammy." And I was like, "Oh, it just," and then he held it up during 99 red balloons. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. I was
That's
like,
my karaoke song, the 7 Seconds version.
"Oh my God, so good." So then after that, I was like, "This is just that's pretty cool,
Yeah, it's
And
kind of cool.
and since then, I had stitched a Buzzo quite a while ago. Like, King Buzzo sat on my table for probably 3 years. Like, I had him, like, got no attention, none. People would walk by my tables at the punk flea markets, and they'd be like, "Who is
Mhm.
that?" And
Mhm.
occasionally somebody'd be like, "Oh, it's Buzzo, cool." And then finally, I saw they had somebody did a puppet of him, and
Mhm.
so I was like, I took the opportunity. I was like, "Hey, I saw that y'all, accepted this. Which if anybody's interested, like, I'd be willing to gift, and I'd
Yeah.
also be willing to make the other band members." And it finally like caught their attention, and
Yeah.
like, yes. So I was able to gift those dolls, and it's just kind of rolled on from there. So Anyway.
How so this is interesting to me from, from the standpoint of being a fan of all of those bands, having grown up with all of those bands. Um, it's interesting to me because, as we said, like 7 seconds for me was like end all be all. My my ride or die band, like that's it. Um, so when I saw them for the first time, I was just like so freaking excited. Because it was it was a tragedy that brought me to that band, and it was a band that has endured through the years with me. And but what's interesting about it is like those guys that we grew up with, those bands that we grew up with,
Mhm.
they are still like just dudes in a band where they're just like humbled and sweet and nice and like do great music that we love. That a lot of those bands were like, a lot of those songs were anthems to our adolescence and our college years. So like it's interesting to see that climate compared to what's out there now. Like
Yeah.
in relation to, like, if you did a doll of like Harry Styles, like you may get in it. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Well,
like a whole different.
it's funny
Whole
because
different thing.
the person who really like kicked off the amigurumi, that's what the dolls are called, amigurumi culture in, like, for us, is Allison Hoffman, and
Yeah.
she's amazing and she's wonderful. She'll talk to us, and I mean, we all talk on Instagram. I'm really good. I have a great supportive community. Um, Everybody who does what I do, like, we talk, we figure things out together. It's kind of like the punk rock scene. It's so cool.
Yeah. That's
But
awesome.
yeah, so Allison has these great patterns out there that we've all learned from, and one of them is Harry Styles. So I will
Oh.
take a Harry Styles. Like, I need his nose. Like, she did a fabulous nose, and it's
Oh my
totally
gosh.
changed the way that I do faces. So, you know, we learn from all those patterns. Like, I'm doing, well, spoiler alert, I'm doing Kathleen Hanna right now. And
Oh my god.
oh yeah,
That's amazing.
and I'm using Allison's Dolly Parton pattern with some obvious modifications.
Yeah.
To help with bare legs and just like a bare skin body.
Mhm.
But here, I'll show you her head. This is like, and I didn't even know, but in 2 days is her birthday. Like,
Oh, that's awesome. Oh my god, it looks amazing.
coming together. Like,
Oh my gosh.
this may be one doll that I have to do two of because she's got so many really cool styles that I'm like,
Yeah.
and I was like, I've stitched so many guys lately. I was like, I can't do another dude. Like,
Right?
I've
You're
got
like,
to get a girl in there. Like, yeah. So working on
that's pretty awesome.
things.
Um, so how, like, so you work off of a pattern, obviously. Did
Well,
you
it's
sometimes or sometimes?
well. So here's the thing. Like, initially I worked off of a pattern
Mhm.
always, and then I've worked on a lot of different things. Like, I've started with Allison stuff, and then this one girl, she goes by Lemon Loops. She was having me test pattern stuff. So Slash is hers.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah.
I tested her pattern, and then I learned some different things. And so every time I do a different doll, I learn different things. And then so now I have my own thing that I like to do. Like, I don't like to stitch in like little strings. That's a pain in the butt for me.
Yeah.
A lot of people will do like the arms, the legs, the feet. It's all different. I like to stitch from the feet all the way up.
Oh, okay.
I know I have okay, so not to show you a naked doll, but So Kathleen right now, like, here's where I'm at. Like, she's got her feet,
Oh, okay. So
so it's
yeah.
all the way up, and I do not like to stitch pieces together. So I
Uh
do
huh.
all
So
one.
you just do all in one. Yeah, yeah.
I do I
That's
do
cool.
I do the arms separately, but I stitch those in as I go. So
Okay.
it's a little bit different from how other people do. And even when I'm using a pattern, I'm like, this is cool. Uh, when I'm doing a doll, I'm watching videos of them. I kind of stalk the person. So I'm like watching videos of them the whole time. I'm staring at photos of them. I'm trying to see what their clothing looks like. I'm trying to see what their facial expressions are like. And so I'm also altering patterns as I go because I've been doing this for a while. So I can do
Yeah.
I make it, like
Yeah.
Brannon. Oh my gosh, John Brannon. His facial expressions are just, I
You
mean,
got good, good. That looks amazing. Oh my god, I love it so much.
he's got he's got like the total rock scowl,
He
you know.
totally does.
Yeah. My kids
You've
were like,
captured him well.
thanks. He loves it too.
Oh my god.
But my kids were like, why is he so angry? And I was like, it's total persona, like,
Yeah, yeah.
but he's got this scowl. He's got like this, this
That looks so
expression.
awesome.
So I try to capture that in my
Yeah.
works. Yeah.
So it's funny because like I don't know why I thought the dolls were like smaller. Are those like
Everyone does.
the? I know. It's like why did I think those dolls were so small? Those are
Yeah.
actually like good sized dolls.
Yeah. They're generally
Yeah.
about the size of my forearm, like from my fingertips down to my,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yep.
So it's interesting to me that like so are you coming at it from like a are you you're still going to sell dolls, right? Like
I don't know.
I think it's funny. Like for me, being a creative person and like having lots of creative friends who use art in so many different types of medium, I feel that like that is the biggest problem, right? That is the biggest problem with starting your own business, with like trying to do something that's creative that you're very passionate about and whatnot, is that people have a hard time paying, and it's like it's like for them they can't really justify it in their head, but like to understand the amount of time and craft and it takes a long time to create something like that that's unique as well.
Yeah.
You're not just mass producing something. This is a piece of art. This is something that has longevity. This is something that could be a keepsake. This is something that is kind of a customized gift.
Mhm.
So it's interesting to me that like that I think that that's a challenge for a lot of makers where it's just like how do you get people to understand like it's this much because of A, B, and C. Like I feel bad for all the woodworkers recently just because of the supply chain. We've had a shortage in that, and so like I can't imagine for them like how difficult it's been to get material, and then when you do get material, it's been the prices have increased so much. So
Yeah.
like yeah, I'm sure that's a challenge for you. Um,
And like I said, I'm fortunate to be in the position where, I can just follow my heart right now. Like
yeah,
I would rather, stitch Ian and, offer it to him and say, thanks for all the amazing music you've produced. Has meant like the absolute world to me. It's been my therapy. It's been, it's the soundtrack to my life.
right.
And the fact that it's going to sit, I'm planning, I've been talking with Ian, which is amazing.
Yeah, so I wanted to get to that because I'm like, how did all that happen? I was like so excited for you. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy how things happen, like in succession. I didn't know how to get in a hold of him because he's not on social media, where
Yeah,
people are on social media. It's
yeah,
to somehow catch their attention,
sure.
but he's not. So what I did was somebody I had emailed Discord, but somebody gave me the direct email for Ian at Discord. And so I emailed him directly. And again, like when I do these things, the expectations are very loose. I'm like, if he reads it, he reads it. If he doesn't, he doesn't.
Right, right.
But he did, and he, was so kind, and he's been so wonderful, and just, again, said he was honored. And then, when I offered him the doll, he said that he would love to put it in the archive. And the original plan was to just ship off the doll. And people joke that my dolls are like voodoo dolls. But I will say the one about it, it's kind of a little weird that I've put my doll with, their doll, and then it just kind of happened. So, I sent him a picture of my doll with his doll, and I was like, hopefully someday I'll meet you. And he said, hey, if you're ever in the DC area, like, come on in and I'll give you a tour of Discord. And so I said, well, here's a counter offer. I would love to come and bring you the doll in person. I said, but feel free to say no. I know he's so busy, but
Yeah.
and we're trying to make that work. Again, it may fall through, whatever, but the tentative plan is after the holidays, I'm going to, take the trip up to Discord. And I think if I get that picture of on the steps with Ian, like I will die a happy woman. Like
How amazing. How, like, what? Yeah, that was so amazing.
yeah, I'm really hoping that works out.
It will. It definitely will. You wanna know why? I think you're one of those people, like, you get it, where it's just like, I mean, I was the same when I lived in New York and started my magazine there, whatever. Like, I was just like not feeling anything, and then, you know, I started just following my instinct and just following my heart, basically. And I was surprised at how many people opened their doors to me.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, I was just really shocked by it and
yeah,
really shocked by the support of it.
yeah,
So I think there's something really good, and I think that's something that's like missing in the world today, is just
yeah,
like sometimes you just need to just let go and just do what it is that you want to do.
yeah,
And isn't that what we grew up with? Isn't that like
yeah.
the essence of the punk rock spirit, where it's just like, I'm going to do whatever it is I want to do, and I don't care what anybody says about it, because
Abs-
this is what I want to do.
Absolutely.
And I think there's something very special about that. And it's been amazing to see your journey with your dolls, and like to see my musical heroes, with you and your dolls, and it's just like, oh my God, I'm so proud of her. Here was this sweet little nothing in a bathroom, and it's Lixman. And to see you now, it's just really nice, and it warms my heart to see.
Thank you.
Um,
I
yeah,
want to say, one thing. I want to say that for anybody out there, like, it's wonderful to open yourself up and put your heart out there. It really is like you put your heart out there. But I'm gonna
hmm
say that there's always going to be that person that says like just the nasty things, and
it always is,
yeah,
especially nowadays.
yeah. And so a girl that does the most amazing work last night was kind of distraught online about some comment she got from someone, and I was like, God damn it! Like, I mean, what in the world? And like, I couldn't help it. I contacted her. I was like, you know what? Like, these people are not putting themselves out there. I want to turn around to these people and be like, there's a Jane's Addiction song. He's like, there's a lyric in there where he's like, you got some big problem. Why don't you sing something to me? And I'm like,
hmm
you put yourself out there, put yourself on the line, put your heart out there, and people will stomp. I will say it's only the 1%. I mean, I've had huge amount of support from online community, in-person community. People are so supportive of what I'm doing. Like, I've been shocked by how amazing the response has been. But there's always going to be that guy out
There
there.
always is, yeah, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so easy for people to hide,
Yeah.
and then to say whatever they want to. And I'm just kind of like, to what end? Like,
Yeah.
really, to
No,
what end?
there's no reason, there's
There's
no
not, there's
reason to
none.
make these comments, and they choose to. And so when that happens, I have a choice. Now my gut wants to be like, I
Your
want
gut wants to be our old selves. We're just like,
to,
oh, oh.
but I stay silent. Like, and that's a choice because, I just choose to not address it. I
I think,
I
yeah, I think,
I respond to every person that I see. Now, there might be
yeah.
some that I don't catch, but any person that gives me any sort of positive feedback, I
Hmm.
respond. That
Yeah.
negative stuff, I'm not saying a word.
It's not worth it because
No.
honestly, that's what they want from you.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah. Exactly.
it's unfortunate that we live in this kind of society, especially right now.
Yeah.
It just seems very, very extreme right now,
Yeah.
especially in this country. Like, it's just bizarre.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And that's why, like, it's so important to me to, like, be supportive. Like, I have
hmm
received huge support from. I mean, these other artists do not have to share their secrets with me. Like,
hmm
Allison Hoffman and Lemon Loops don't have to share their secrets with me. Jenny Bones, like, Toby Time, I I will talk. I'll be like, I don't know how to put the eyelashes on. Can you help? And they're like, hell yeah, And they don't have to share their secrets with me, but they do, and we cheer for each other. I love that. Like, that's what it's all about. That is what. Oh, that's what I want. That's what I want for everybody. Like, let's just cheer
yeah,
for each other. Let's just.
it's really nice to be supported
Yeah.
in whatever you do.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't have to love it, right?
Yeah.
You can be an outside person and not love it, but you can appreciate it, and
Sure.
you can, like, you know, take that person in and be like, you know what? I can't do what you do, but it's awesome what you do, and good for you, because it takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot to decide,
Yeah.
hey, I'm going to do something different, because you've got voices all around you that are telling you, well, you should do this and you should do that. Or they're telling you, well, that's never going to work.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've had people say these things to me.
Mhm.
And it's very disheartening, because it does make you take a step back, and you're like, you start to self doubt, and you're just like, can I do this? Like, because in your mind, of course, you're envisioning, like, the success of it,
Yeah.
for yourself mostly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think as artists and creative people, that's the biggest thing, is like, kind of, ignoring those other voices out there that are just like, oh, well, you're not going to be good enough,
Right.
because it doesn't matter. If you're doing what you love to do, then it is going to be good enough, and that's going to lead to your success no matter what.
Absolutely.
So yeah. Um, are you still nursing? Are you still? No, I was wondering. So
No.
Sandy has a background as a nurse
Yeah.
in her former life.
Yeah. I worked at St. Mary's Hospital in Richmond for
Mhm.
10 years in hospital. And then I transferred here with bon secours, and then I never planned on quitting work ever. Like, I got pregnant, and had all these places set up for my daughter, and everything fell through. Like, I had nowhere to put her. So my husband was like, just for now, like, let's just take you out. Oh my gosh, it's been 11 years. I'm still here.
He took you out already. Out.
Yes. So yeah, I'm so fortunate. Like, I can take the kids here and there, and I can stitch and I can do, I'm just very lucky.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, are you planning on selling any dolls like in
It's
in the
so
near
fun.
future?
Because you like someone catches me on the right day, or maybe it's the wrong day, and like I'll agree
Yeah.
thing like mostly now this is my favorite is I trade things. So here's a great example. I have art pen pals, and so we'll send stuff back and forth to each other. Like Hagrid is actually a trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll show you Hagrid. He's
Oh my gosh.
big, but he's got his little pink umbrella.
He's so cute.
Oh, there's a girl up in Canada. She wanted him for her mom for Christmas,
Aw.
and she's not online, so I don't have to worry about spoiling a surprise. But she is a fabulous painter, Ellie Duke, and
Uh-huh.
so I've been in AA for almost 2 years. And I have some really big heroes in the AA. And so she was like, well, how much do you want for Hagrid? And I was like, no, like, we are not doing that. Like, I was like, I want your art. Like, I don't want your money. Just give me your art. And so
Yeah.
she said, well, who do you want? And like, I picked the most obscure because it's me. And I was like, I want a picture of Clancy I because he's my hero. He's my AA
Oh.
hero. And so she's painted me. I haven't even seen it yet, but she's shipping me a painting of Clancy I. And
Oh, that's amazing.
it's gonna be like my heart. It's for me. Nobody else knows who that is, but I mean, AA. Anybody in AA knows who Clancy is.
Yeah.
He's a AA hero, but um, yeah. So I like to trade. My most recent one is I don't know if you saw the guy who dressed up as Minor Threat for Halloween this year. Did you see this?
I didn't see it, but that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so I think his name is Philippe Carrier. I hope I'm not
Mhm.
getting that wrong. But so I posted his picture on my story, and then he contacted, I mean, this is the way this works. He
Right.
contacted me, and I contacted him, and we were talking back and forth. And then I noticed that he does, as a hobby, he prints patches. So he's going to print me up a bunch.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's printed me up a beautiful batch of Punk Pixels patches, and so I'm gonna trade him something for that. And and that's my favorite thing to do, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
I really love the art trade. It's such a fulfilling kind of thing to do. I don't know. I love doing that.
Lots of warm and fuzzies, Sandy. Lots of warm and fuzzies of what you're doing. I think it's awesome.
Thank
So
you.
who is somebody that you haven't done yet that you will want to do really bad?
I actually want to delve a little bit into I want to delve into AA a little bit, like Bill W. I'd love to stitch him. I'm like I owe AA my whole life because I don't know if I'd be here if I didn't find AA. So I would like to. I mean, a lot of this artwork is about gratitude, and
Mhm.
so I'm so grateful to AA that I would love to be able to like maybe stitch a Bill W, maybe send it to New York to headquarters and say,
Yeah.
this is for you guys. But I don't know. There's so many great musicians out there. Like I said, right now I'm like I've got to get some ladies done. You
You
know,
should do a Kim Gordon one.
I know I have thought of her, and then I've thought of like I mean just Blondie and Joan Jett and all
Oh
those.
yeah. I
Really,
mean, you can go into 77, into the 80s and like
oh
I
yeah.
mean, and even the 90s. I mean, I feel like in the 90s, like us women, we kind of dominated a lot of that scene.
I know, I know. I like want to interview you. You did. So what was your zine back then?
Oh, which one? Oh, back then,
Yeah.
like with Laura.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
You're
Bitch
right.
magazine.
Right. Yeah.
Remember, we were the
What?
Bitch
I mean,
Posse.
y'all were Riot Girl, right? Were you
We
Riot Girl?
were Riot Girls before that movement even hit Richmond. I remember, I remember sitting with Laura and talking to Laura about there was like some sort of protest that was about to happen. And somebody had mentioned that Riot Girls were coming, and she and I just kind of laughed about it because we're like, what?
Been
Like,
there, done that.
I was just like, oh, now they're putting a label on it. Oh, okay, okay, you know. So
Yeah.
it's really interesting because they got so much, they were very notable during that time, but like Laura and I and our friends had been doing it for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've always in correlation with the scene. It's just like it was a given.
Yeah.
Which is funny because that whole scene was so male dominated, but also like very supportive of,
It
you
was.
know.
In Richmond, we were really lucky. I think other places it was not what we
uh,
experienced. Like
I agree. I
every
agree.
guy was like my brother. Like
Yeah.
I felt completely protected.
God, we were.
I know I could get in the pit with no worries. Like nobody,
None.
anything happened to me. Like
The show would stop.
Yeah. Oh, it would.
I mean, I remember Tim Berry stopping a show a lot.
Oh yeah.
I remember Clutch stopping a show as well. I think the first time they played here, something happened.
Inquisition show. Yeah,
Inquisition shows all the time.
Yeah, that wouldn't. I mean, anything bad was happening, the show stopped. Music stopped. Everyone stopped. And we were lucky. I don't think it was. I mean, I think we had there. I mean, I remember some stuff. I remember when skinheads used to come to the shows, and
then we would just beat them up, and then it was over. Yeah, we handled it. We're like, you got a brick? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It was very different. So
Yeah.
I also think it's funny when people move here and they just kind of claim. There's all kinds of. I mean, not to get into politics or anything like that, but like, it's interesting to me when people move here and they have this whole like, I'm on my soapbox and Richmond and racism and blah blah blah, and I'm just like, dude, you have no idea like where we come from and the things that we were involved in during that time. Lots of fights.
Yeah.
Lots of fights. But I tell you, I mean, we handled it, and then it was over. Like, I didn't find after that, like, I felt like that was a period of time that was just kind of like it was here and then it was gone kind of thing. And then like the whole evolution of that scene, I think I stopped kind of going to shows probably in the mid-90s when people started bringing knives to shows and things like that. I was just like, I'm out. Like, I don't need them. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get killed at the show,
Yeah.
But that it was such a significant. I think we were very fortunate that we had that in our lives, and that we were so close. I mean, we were a family. I feel like Richmond, that whole Richmond scene was just like
It was
a complete huge family.
It was. I mean, it worked the way. I mean, in doing AA, like it worked the way it's supposed to work. Like everyone accepted. I mean, for the most part, you always got your outliers, but it, for the most part, everyone accepted everyone, and that's what drew me in. Like seeing people looking different and acting different and being different, and yet we're all part of this one big group, and there was this huge acceptance and support of one another, and that's what really drew me in. And then the music just kind of reiterated all that, like all the lyrics reiterating all of that and saying all the things that we were thinking.
I think that was a big thing for sure.
Yeah.
Just saying exactly what we felt.
Yeah, and I mean,
and not being,
it's the same thing. Like any supportive group kind of works the same way. Like AA works the same way. That I found on Instagram the art communities work in the same way. Like I see like a really common thread there, and it's like this is the way it's supposed to be. Like,
Hmm.
ideally.
Yeah, I mean, ideally it is supposed to be that way. I mean, that's how it all works. I
Yeah,
mean, that's how revolutions happen.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
we had our own little revolution, our Richmond Revolution.
yeah.
Um,
It's all based out of like love and heart,
it really is.
not hate, not you know, I don't know. You
And
know,
part you, I feel like also like during that time, you were kind of. I mean, we were young, but like I think we were taught at that time how to deal with our problems on a different level than I feel like that younger people today deal with their problems. You know, um, and just speaking of music, like I think that's why Billie Eilish has gotten as big as she has because she's just like she comes off as genuine, and I think that because she just kind of does what she wants to do,
yeah,
um, and she has that connectivity, and
yeah,
that's how for us like going to shows, you could go see Danzig and like talk to him after the show.
right,
You
yeah,
could go see 7 Seconds and talk to them after the show.
definitely,
You know
definitely,
what I mean? There's just like that intimacy with those artists,
yeah,
and they're artists that you admire. So like,
they are.
yeah, it's a really beautiful thing. I think that we grew up with, and I like that. I like that a lot.
And
Um,
Ian's a super busy dude, but I think
yeah.
he answers all the emails, and I mean, that might be why he's so busy, but I think he
Yeah.
answers the letters and he answers the emails and he talks to people, and I mean, he's so busy, but he's super approachable, super genuine, like all
Yeah.
of these guys are. Oh yeah, I'll
That's
show
that's
you.
so good. Oh, I love it. He's gonna love that so
He
much.
does. He didn't think he had eyebrows. I guess he didn't see him in the picture.
Oh.
He does have eyebrows. He does
Okay,
not have
yeah.
hair because I
No
tried
hair.
putting a little hair on him and it looked kind of awkward. And
That is amazing.
then
I love it so much.
out of the skateboard because
Yes.
I'm not real great with clay, but I'm getting there. But
Yeah,
I did make that out of clay and I painted it and it actually has
that's
wheels. Now,
awesome.
wheels don't work, but they but it
How fun.
yeah. So
I love it so much.
you know Brandon he actually he really kind of wanted his doll. He kind of hinted that he would like to have his doll, so I was able to actually talk to him and I was like, well, what kind of props do you want? And he wanted a beer and some
And
cigarettes.
on my girlfriend. Cigarettes.
He wanted his cigarettes and he wanted his so the cigarettes actually come out of the pocket. It actually said, I can't.
So where do you find your props?
Oh, no,
Or do you just make them?
I make them.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
They make them. They're usually clay and paint
Uh-huh.
and Sharpie.
Oh, that's so cool.
So yeah,
So all handmade,
yeah.
everything.
Mhm.
Well done. Well done, Sandy. So
Thanks.
proud of you. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, and I made his cat too.
I saw the cat. I was like, that's awesome.
Oh, that was like my favorite picture because he got this grumpy like man holding up a cat. But this man loves his cat. Let me tell you, it has its own hashtag. Lucy's pick of the week
Oh
is
my God.
hashtag Lucy pick of the week, and you can that's this cat.
I love it so much. That's awesome.
Fun.
Well done. Well, it's been so great catching up with you, and
Oh,
I really appreciate the time you've taken
me
to
too.
uh to talk to me.
Absolute
I
pleasure.
I miss seeing your face around town.
No, that's the one downside about not living in Richmond anymore and then when I go to Richmond, I'm like, where is everybody?
They're all hybrid. You know where they are? They're at home. They're at
Yep,
home.
I
I
am.
think it's been interesting with the pandemic because this is also another conversation I had this past week was I think with the pandemic, all the introverts that were, that you did go out, that you would see, you don't see it all anymore. They've
Yeah.
just gotten very comfortable being at home. And like, I'm a pretty social person, but I have even found myself just being like, I kind of, just being really comfortable at home.
Hmm.
But, I still do, I still go out, obviously, because I like talking to people, and of course, my business requires me to go and talk to people and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's just very different. Like, I don't feel like it's kind of awkward. I don't
Yeah.
even know how to describe it. It's like my social skills. Like, I'm not as, um, I can't articulate things the way that I want to articulate them like I used. I don't know. It's just very strange. I'm like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
Um, that could
Like,
just be age. I
that's
don't
what I was
know.
gonna say. I was like, it's hard to tell, like, chicken or the egg. Is it like age? Is it COVID? Is it all of it? Who knows? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows?
But the
But
fun thing is like I feel like people our age of this generation are all just kind of having the same experience where, yeah, I'm a little more comfortable at home, but I still love going to see live music. Now, it's harder
yeah,
to get out there because like if it's gonna go past 10 and I gotta drive an hour, I'm like, oh, it's gotta be
I'm
like
like this. So the show starts at 9, and there's 4 bands. Who do I really want to see? You know what I mean? Or like, do I need to take a nap before I
yes,
go?
yes,
Um,
exactly.
and it's really funny that is like my thought process now.
Oh,
Or like, can I still wear heels to this show, or is this going to be
I
like
know. I mean,
just dumb stuff like that?
we were looking for the after party when we were,
Oh
back
yeah, I remember.
now I'm like, oh my God, I can't stay another minute of God
Yeah,
bed.
it's I think that's the hardest part for me. It's like having been doing this for a really really long time. I
Yes,
think that is the hardest, most difficult part for me.
it
And
is.
and then also just like I get mad at myself. I get frustrated with myself because I'm just like, why am I so tired? And then I'm like, on the weekends, you get up early, whatever, and you're like, I just want to sleep like I slept in college. Like there's nights of just like, out until 3, 4 in the morning, and then you would come home and you would just sleep, and then you would wake up and go work at the restaurant and work a double shift and then stay
Yeah,
early. Just the energy level was just so different.
go through the night, like don't sleep at all, and then work the next
Oh,
day. Like I mean,
exactly.
wouldn't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
thing, but now I'm
Sleep
like,
that whole sleep when you're dead situation.
you know,
It's not like that anymore. I think that's what I miss the most.
no, it's not. No.
And for all of us who ate Peter Pan, like, we definitely pushed the boundaries on that.
Yeah,
I've definitely done that where I'm like, it's
oh
2 in
yeah,
the morning. I'm cool. I'm gonna sing another song, or
oh
like
yeah.
whatever you're doing.
I know it.
Um,
I know it.
and yeah, because I do. I miss that feeling. But then the next day I'm like out of commission. It's
Oh,
just like I'm done.
nothing's happening the next day. Like,
No, nothing,
no.
nothing. Maybe me ordering pizza, but like nothing.
I know. I know. I
So.
know. Agnostic Front's actually coming to Greenville. I'm like,
Holy
what
crap.
am
Are
I
they
looking
still playing? I didn't even know they were still playing together.
I know. I'm like, oh, okay. It's a Monday.
I know, right? That's the other thing. You're like, what day is that on? How far do I have to travel? Wait.
I know. All these factors, like,
Mhm, mhm.
terrible.
Do I have to be a responsible adult the next day? Okay, well.
Yeah, maybe I'll skip
Yeah.
it.
I'm gonna regret this, but
I know. I really appreciated the Melvins. They were done by 10. I was
oh, they knew what was up. They're like, yeah, we
oh,
feel the same way. We're good.
yeah. I'm my
Aw, that's
dear.
so great.
Uh,
Well, I know how busy we both are,
yeah.
so I'm gonna let you go, but thank you so, so, so much for doing
Oh,
this.
thank
I
you.
really appreciate it. I had a blast talking to you, and I'm so, so proud of you, and I can't wait to see what you do. Well, we definitely, I want an update when you go to Discord. I want to hear all about that.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to like touch back
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
gosh. I'm just hope that happens. I'm
It
gonna
will.
make it happen.
I
I'm making it happen.
It'll make it happen. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
He'll love it.
Yeah. Oh, he sent me a picture of one more thing. He sent me a
I
picture.
was like, what?
I was like, send me a picture of your guitar. I'll make it. And he sent me a picture. So
Oh
that'll
my
be in the works,
gosh.
before I go. But so
I
fun.
can't wait.
So fun.
I'm so excited for you. I'm like living vicariously. I'm like,
Yes.
that's so awesome.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't wait to see what you do next.
thank you.